So the purpose of the study that we're currently working on, we have a couple of them, but broadly speaking, we're interested in finding the risk factors for deception vulnerability across a bunch of different domains, such as email phishing, lying and interpersonal scamming, fake news as well, and also AI-based digital threats to deception. In decision making, it's important to understand in many cases if the information that we're looking at is true or false, or how much we should trust it. So there's all kinds of materials that can be deceptive, and also humans can be deceptive. So we're really just trying to understand how people process whether the information that they're looking at or engaging with is truthful or not. When we think about what's causing vulnerability to scams and fraud or misinformation, this is a new area of study, particularly in the context of aging. There's very long-standing in the field of psychology, this idea of confirmation bias. So we have a belief going into a situation, we are presented with information where it might be kind of challenging to figure out if something we believed before is the reason for what we're observing or it's something else, and people are predisposed to maintain their prior belief, especially if it strongly aligns with their personal identity. And one of the things that we know from population statistics is that with respect to older adults, seniors from historically disadvantaged minority backgrounds appear to have exploitation at higher rates than others. So one of the basic things that has to happen, and our lab is trying to do, is conduct principled research with different racial ethnic groups of older adults so that we can better understand the vulnerability factors that are impacting those different communities. So our study is specifically looking at 3 specific racial ethnic groups. We have our white older adults, we have Black older adults, and we have those from Hispanic heritage, because there's preliminary evidence from others to indicate that those groups have different rates of exploitation. A scammer can basically put out so many different scam attempts at the blink of an eye because of digital technology. However, I wouldn't say that I'm as concerned about that in some cases as I am about old school interpersonal scams, and I'll tell you why. People who do interpersonal scamming where it's one-to-one, it's based on a personal relationship that they develop with someone, those scams often go much deeper. And so in terms of what causes the most harm to someone, those personal relationships, they cause harm because people feel really truly betrayed, embarrassed, ashamed, and heartbroken. And then the other thing is that when the scammers get very deep into their lives, they can get on their wills, they can get power of attorney, they can get other kinds of things which really can ruin someone's life. I mean, irrevocably ruined as far as financially, right? And then again, also that psychological part, which I think is sort of underappreciated by the general public. But if anybody who sees this has been scammed, they probably had that experience of oh, I should have known. So I would say the number one thing I would be on alert for, that there is some ask for money in a situation where that might normally not be expected. So if someone is asking you for money, like from an outside entity, and especially I'll put number 2 on that it's urgent. So this temporal urgency makes people make decisions really quickly and not scrutinize the situation, not think about it in greater depth. And often urgency can create stress and a lot of emotional feelings that can hinder certain parts of the decision-making process, like the deliberative part of our processing. So the knee-jerk reaction might be to just quickly solve the problem by providing some money or something. If there's some kind of threat that is imminent, you need to check that definitely, to go to the source rather than taking anything at face value, whether delivered to you in person, through email, through the phone. Check the phone number, check the website, go to the source yourself rather than, and you can say, just to give people your trust, to say, I hear what you're saying. Thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. I'm going to follow up on this right away. Click. And then you go and call the verified phone number for your whatever that office is, and make sure that you are checking that you're speaking actually to the correct person. So yeah, watching out for anything that seems too urgent, any immediate ask for money, and anything that's trying to threaten you that you're going to lose something that's really important to you. Always just try to slow down, think it through, take the time, and verify that you're speaking to the correct person and the correct entity.